Welcome back to R&R Time with Ruben and RyLee, where we talk about marriage, parenting, and have a little weekly vent session. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Ruben, kick us off with our sweet and salty.
My sweet this past week was our daughters had a book nick at their school last Friday, and I just thought it was very fun. I think.
Well, you need to explain what book nick is.
Oh, okay. So book nick it was Nevada Reading Day last Friday, and their school had just a really fun event where they invited the parents or family to come and have a picnic on the playground with the kids and eat some lunch and read books. And it was just fun. And our daughters were super excited, especially Ruby. She's our new 8-year-old. And she reminded me like a week before, like, Dad, remember my lunch is at 10:35. Don't forget 10:35. Yeah, 10:35 a.m. lunch. Anyway, she reminded me every single day up until the night before and just tried to make sure that I was there. And when I got there, okay, so hers was at 10:35. Livy and Emily's was at like 12:30, like a more normal time for lunch.
And unfortunately, I couldn't go to Ruby's because I had a doctor's appointment.
Right. So she especially wanted to remind me because she knew you weren't going to be there. And I was like, yes, Ruby, I'll be there. Don't worry, but she just wanted to make sure I was there. And when I got there and she came up with her class, like she was just like so excited. Like she ran up to me and gave me the biggest hug and was just so excited just to have lunch with me on the playground. And so that was so sweet, And then for the 12:30 lunchtime with Livy and Emily, my sister had flown into town. She got here like 11, 12. And so she was able to come to their lunch. And RyLee was also able to make that one. And so we all got to eat lunch together. And
which in turn, so did our 3-year-old and the baby.
You're right. And Elsie was there and Meta was there and my sister excited. And it was just fun. It was just fun just to see the kids excited for us to be there. And the funny thing is like I just dropped them off to school like 2 hours before that. Like school started at 8 a.m. Ruby's lunch was at 10:30. I just dropped her off to school. Like it's not like it was that long before I saw her again. But yet she acted like she hadn't seen me in so long.
Well, and it's like a different context, right? It's like you're not in that world with them very much. And so I don't know. I always thought that was so fun as a kid to see like my parents or my siblings or something when I was in elementary school, because like if they weren't in my school, it was just like a special thing,
Yeah. No, for sure. And they got to see me, like they got to show off their friends, like and be like, hey, Dad, this is my friend, so and so. And so I think they're excited to do that as well, And so it was funny too, because Livy and Emily's their lunch was at 12:30. And their school ends at what, 2:33?
Yeah, like soon after.
So soon after, we're saying bye. Like we're not going to see him for a while. And it was like, I'll see you in like a couple hours, But
actually, I have to say one funny part about Booknick is the idea was that we read books as a family and have a picnic because it's book week. And last year when they did it, they had like a bunch of boxes set out where we could go and like pick up books and read them. So all the kids were doing it last year because they had these boxes set out. Well, this year was different. It was kind of like the kids were supposed to bring their own book. Well, our reader, our 11-year-old is a big reader, and she comes out with her chapter book, and she's like reading the 5th book of 6 of this series. So she's really into it. But regardless, she's like always has a book in her hand. But she comes out and she looks around and she goes, I'm the only one who brought a book out here.
For Booknick.
For Booknick.
Yeah.
It's just funny because
like me and Ruby didn't even.
friends brought books out.
Right. And me and Ruby didn't read a single book,
Yeah.
But
I guess we could have brought some too.
Yeah, I think
last year they just had them set up. So I was kind of thinking they would, but they didn't.
Yeah, there were parents that brought books though. I saw.
Maybe I didn't read.
We just didn't really think about the books. We thought more of the food and being there with them. So that was my sweet. What was yours? Or salty.
That was
You
fun.
can go salty.
That was super fun. Okay, I'll go sweet first too. So I have a couple of sweet. We had our 8-year-old decided to get baptized in our church. We belong to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and she decided to get baptized. And so we had family coming in from out of town and flying in and traveling. We had friends come, and it was just like the best time to be together to celebrate her. And it was just so sweet, and it was so fun, and everything went perfectly. It was just a really fun time to spend with family and friends. People not of our faith, our friends came and supported her, and it was just the best. So,
yeah, I'll say that was really sweet too.
Yeah, that was
we had
so
people
fun.
that had never been to our church before.
Never been to a baptism for our faith.
Probably were super uncomfortable, like feeling like, walking into this unknown church and not knowing really what's going on. But they came because they loved our family.
Yeah.
And they loved Ruby, and they wanted to support, and that was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of made me emotional when I saw him. I remember the first things that came out of my mouth. So I was just like, oh, you beautiful people. Just like it meant so much to me. Like these are such sweet friends and supportive people to come and support her on her special day, even though maybe they don't believe it or understand it or whatever. Like they care about her and supported her in that. And that was so sweet. So that was the ultimate sweet. But I have one more little sweet. Well, it's actually a big deal for me. But, in the past few episodes, I talked about my eyes being the salty. My eyes have been amazing. Have you noticed? They're like not red anymore. And I've actually worn contacts. I started off for a small duration of time and then progressively went longer. But I've worn contacts like 3 times this week. And my eyes have been fine. And I think it's maybe a couple of things, okay? Maybe sugar. My eyes have gotten better since I've stopped eating sugar. Is that not crazy? I'm like, maybe sugar, but also the season is changing.
Yeah.
Like it's warming up, and most people's allergies are getting worse, but I feel like I've been better. So it could be the season too. Like it could be that. But I've been dealing with eye issues for...
Even when you were on the shot.
Yes, I've been dealing with eye issues for like 6 months, and they're finally feeling better, and I'm not doing any additional eye drops or anything like that, and they're clearing up. So...
Yeah. That's a good sweet.
And I honestly, I don't think I tried, I did realize it. I was like, oh, my eyes are doing better. I tried some contacts. But when I was talking to some friends tonight, I was hanging out with some friends, and I was like, oh my gosh, this has really been kind of since I started to stop eating sugar.
Yeah.
Is that not crazy? If you're an ophthalmologist, or what's the other one?
Optometrist, ophthalmologist. Yeah.
Let me know if you think that could be.
I mean,
correlated.
I think reducing sugar definitely helps many things.
Probably a lot of things. Processed sugars are in everything. And it's not to say I haven't fully eliminated it, because I still have some processed food every now and then, right? That maybe there's some sugar in, but probably a very significant drop in sugar.
Yeah.
From what I was having. And I'm being a lot more aware of my sugar intake, That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yay. We're happy about that, because for a long time that was my salty. And now it's a sweet.
It's a sweet without the sweet.
It's a sweet without the sweet, but we still have sweet.
Sweet without the sugar.
We have sugar-free.
Sugar-free.
Chips.
Fake sweet.
Yeah.
All right. What was your salty?
Oh, I just put a chocolate chip in my mouth. It's your turn.
What? Okay. So my salty still has to do with the book, Nick. And I don't know. I kind of, the word salty kind of just makes me think, I don't know, salty, I don't know, something that made me mad, or something that made me annoyed, or, right? Like when you say I'm salty. That
made you salty.
That made me salty. But this didn't really make me salty. Just kind of made me sad a little bit. When I went to the first booknik with Ruby, 10:30, there was one kid who was sitting there kind of looking around,
Oh, this is
waiting,
gonna break my heart.
waiting for someone to show up, and it looked like he had thought that his parents were coming or someone was coming, and he was looking around and just didn't see anyone there, and I thought, man, this is so sad, and the teachers, he started to cry a little bit, and the teachers had to take him, and they kind of put their arms around him and walked him back into the cafeteria, where all the other kids were eating who didn't have parents that came or whatever. But he came outside because I think he thought that he was going to have lunch with someone, and that was just made me so sad, and it made me even more like grateful that I came, like even maybe, yeah, is that the right word? Grateful that I came, or happy that I came and was there with Ruby, and also made me think, like, not to shame the parents or whatever. Like, I don't want, like, there's probably something that happened or something that went on or whatever. But even more so, like, the reason I bring it up is to just kind of highlight, like,
the importance of
showing up and how much it means to the kids,
Even though you saw him a couple hours before.
Even though I saw him a couple hours before, and that just broke my heart, honestly. And honestly, it broke my heart thinking that if Ruby was there, sitting there, and I didn't show up, and she was disappointed in me for not coming, like, that would have broken my heart to see her like that.
So can I share a parent felt? Because I was that parent once.
Sure.
With Ruby. Last year, Ruby had a field trip, and I got picked to be a chaperone. And they kind of do it like pull out of the hat if you can be a chaperone, because so many people want to go and they can't have that many chaperones. And I got selected, and she was so excited that I could go on her field trip. And last year was our first year at this school. So it was also Ruby's first field trip ever, because our last school didn't really do field trips. And so it was a big deal. It was her first field trip ever. I got selected to go. And I got busy working on stuff. Actually, this ties into what we're talking about now that I think about it. But I got busy working on stuff with Purposeful Toys. And because of that, I was a little late to the field trip. And so this field trip was at a theater downtown, and I called them. I was like, I'm coming. I'm running late. And they're like, okay, we'll have somebody waiting out there for you, So I was able to get in. Thankfully, somebody waited for me so I could go in. And I was in tears because I just kept thinking about how Ruby was probably looking for me. She was probably looking for me, and I wasn't there, and I had no way to tell her, that I was running late or that things came up or whatever. And I went into the theater, and I saw Ruby, and there were no spots by her. So I said, can I just sit like over here, like kind of by her class? And so they're like, oh, yeah, you can go sit over there. So I sat over there. I made sure she saw me. Like, I got her attention, and she was excited to wave at me, but like I couldn't sit by her. And it was like a theater. So it was like it's not like I was really, I don't even know why the chaperones were really there. I was not interacting with any of the kids. I just sat there and watched the show kind of by myself. And then I made sure to like give her a hug on the way out. And that was it. And I felt horrible. I felt so bad. I felt like the worst mom. And at the end of the day, she was okay. Like, my kid was fine. She was fine. She probably wasn't as sad as I was thinking, but I do think showing up matters. And it just broke my heart that I wasn't there when she was probably looking for me and stuff like that.
Yeah, initially. But you fixed it. You showed up still.
Yeah, but I still think about that. I just felt like the worst ever.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'm like, you be on time. Like, be focused, try to be on time.
Especially when you have a daughter that is reminding you over and over and over and over. It's like, this is important to them, and you got to show up. So, but yeah. Anyways, that was my salty. I just honestly felt so bad for that kid,
Yeah.
and I never want my children to feel like they're not being supported, in the things that they want to do. So yeah. What's yours?
Showing up matters. Wait, I feel like this is such a good topic. Never mind.
You want to
We'll
keep
talk
going?
about it. No, but I just want to share one more thing kind of on this note, but it's not about our kids. Remember there was a time when Ruben was the Polynesian Student Union president at Utah State University. So he's over the Polynesian club at Utah State. And we had to put on, I was in that presidency with you, and we had to put on a big luau. And in the past, years past, this was like a huge event, huge luau. It had kind of been dwindling in recent years. So we were trying to bring back this luau. And it takes a lot of time and energy, time practicing all the dances and learning and, putting together this show. And our first year doing it, we had invited family and friends. We had a couple of family members come, but for the most part, nobody came. Most of our friends, I don't think any of our friends came. I think my mom came, my sister.
We had my
a couple
siblings,
of
our
family members.
Yeah.
But no friends came. But that's on our end too. We didn't market it very well. But anyways, I remember laying in bed at night with you, and we were that felt so sucky. That felt so sucky to do this and have no one come. And I remember the conversation we had that I was we want to make sure, if possible, it matters to show up and support people. And we want to be those people who show up and support.
Yeah, I remember
that conversation. And we're we felt so horrible that we want to make sure we show up for people. And that's a big deal.
Well, it was kind of, yeah.
Yeah, there's fault on our part.
There's fault on our part too. This was our first time ever putting something like this together, right? I just got back from a mission that year, the summer before. And
it was probably mostly our fault.
We kind of just threw together something, and, we didn't really know what we were doing planning this luau. And, we didn't advertise it very well, but yes.
For sure we should have done better. But I just remember that feeling and and for us being showing up means a lot to people.
I think we were also kind of embarrassed too.
We were. Oh, we were super embarrassed.
Because we had a school group come, some kids that were learning about Polynesian culture in their school class, and so they bought tickets to come, and they were there, and no one else was there, and we had a dance. We did a few performances, and I think partially or mostly I was just kind of embarrassed as the Polynesian Student Union president that kind of failed an event, an event that was supposed to be the big thing for the year.
And it used to be huge.
Right.
Yeah.
Used to be huge, and no one showed up, except for our family and some friends, or not really.
I don't think any friends. But, no friends.
But we were just I was just kind of embarrassed. And I remember I cried, I think we both cried.
We just felt so sucky.
Oh man, this did not turn out that being said, well.
The next year we put in work and time, to the point where you didn't work that semester. Remember, we decided, you know what, RyLee's just going to work. You're going to focus on being the Polynesian Student Union president and working on school stuff that you needed to do. And you went out and you put in foot traffic of getting businesses to sponsor us and traveling to different schools, and you did a lot. And that was the biggest luau they had in years. So it was kind of cool to see
next year
what we
turned
learned
around
from
completely.
It. Yeah, the next year was a huge success. Right. It was the biggest event they've had for 5 or 6 years, and so
maybe not that long.
Oh, it was.
We felt like it was that long, but
maybe not. But
but it was a good luau. It was definitely a good luau. Yeah.
But
with people standing in the back, when we did it in a bigger place in the ballroom, and all the seats were filled and people were standing, it was big. But also, and I think this could be a whole nother topic too. Like we got more people involved, to help, and we
and participate.
And
we had more dancers. We had drummers.
But we had more of
a fire knife dancer.
We had more of a council.
Yeah.
And we had the right people. Not that the people before weren't good, but we had more people who had also had experience putting on events.
Yeah.
And
involved.
So the crew that we had was just great, and they helped us put that luau together, and so turned out a lot better the next year for sure. So
this could be a whole thing about business leadership, but it's not going to be. But anyways, we learned from that and we moved on, and like even with me with Ruby's field trip, like I learned from that experience, and definitely making changes. I'll probably revisit that later on in our conversation, but
okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that because showing up matters and it means a lot to people. Sorry, we got off on a big tangent, but okay, my salty is Elsie, our 3-year-old, was climbing my rock wall, and this is the first injury we've had with this rock wall, and she was with her cousin, so we weren't there, we didn't see it, but I did notice like the last few weeks she's been getting braver and going up higher. So I don't know how high she was, but she fell off the rock wall and totally like scraped her head, like literally
like tore off the skin off her forehead,
scalped her head.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
And she had a huge bump and it was bleeding, and then she had like a sore on the other side of her face from it. She hit the rocks on her way down. And I was like...
She just came downstairs. We just hear her crying.
It was so sad.
Walking down the stairs slowly. And we're like, yeah, that was so sad.
I felt so sad. And then like later on that night, I was like, Elsie, I'm so sorry that you got hurt on the rocks. And she was like, you didn't hurt me. The rocks hurt me. And I was like, I know, but I still feel so sad for you. But she got a pretty bad battle wound. And then today was worse because she had a Band-Aid. So this was a couple days ago. And then she had a Band-Aid on her head. And the scab started forming on her injury. And it was sticking to the Band-Aid. And so I had to remove the Band-Aid and it like peeled off the scab. Oh, it was just, I felt so bad. It was so sad. Anyways, that's the salty. She got pretty beat up.
But she's fine now.
I can't take you seriously with that knife. I keep staring at it.
Just don't worry about the knife.
Sketchy, man.
Dude, leave the knife alone.
Ew.
It's cool.
Now for our next segment. Wait.
That's interesting. So the thing that I chose, this is a quote. I saw this on a Facebook, I think it was a Facebook reel or something, Facebook video. It was actually saved in my folder. I have like a saved folder. It's like inspirational, motivational like folder. I think I have saved this like years ago. So when I was trying to like think of something to share today, I just went, I was like, oh, I remember I had this, because I hadn't saved anything to it for a while. So I went to it and I was just scrolling through the things that I'd saved. And this one stuck out to me. So it was like a Buddhist monk. I should probably get his name. I don't remember his name. It was pretty cool. He seemed like a really wise guy. But he said, he was speaking to a crowd and he asked, what's the most pleasing 5-letter word? 5-letter word. Some people said money. What else did someone say? I can't remember, but he said no. The most pleasing 5-letter word is smile. It increases your face value.
It's RyLee.
RyLee or Ruben. RUBEN. Ruben and RyLee.
Yeah.
But he said, man, it's better just to listen to him. I feel like I'm not doing this justice. But he said, the most pleasing 5-letter word is smile. It increases your face value. He said, there will always be a reason to cry. We don't laugh on the same joke again. Why do we cry on the same problem again? It depends on you whether you want to smile or cry tears. And then he shared this diagram. So he's talking about this in the context of like, just live your life, like be happy. Like there's so many things that go on in your life.
Like choose to be happy.
Like there are so many problems out there, but just choose to smile. Just choose to be happy. And he shared this diagram, and the diagram it had a question. It said, "Do you have a problem in life?" And then there's an arrow to yes, an arrow to no. Right. So it started. Do you have a problem in life? You go to yes or you go to no, and then it goes to then why worry, right? Mm-hmm. Do you have a problem in life? Yes. Mm-hmm. Can you do something about it? If you say yes again, then it points back to then why worry, right? And then he asks again, do you have a problem in life? Mm-hmm. Yes. Can you do something about it? No. Then why worry?
Because you have no control.
It's like it all comes back to just then why worry? Like, funny. And I guess the idea he was trying to get across is like,
well, because that sucks.
It's like you're gonna have problems. There are things that are gonna happen. You can only control what you can control. Mm-hmm. So choose to smile. Like choose to smile and not worry about the things that you can't control, you know? And if there is something you can do to control it, then do that and don't worry, you know? And I know it's simpler than it sounds, but the idea is like don't let things bother you so much. You know, he was also like, there are probably people out there talking bad about you. There's probably someone that's saying something bad about you in an email or a text, right? Mm-hmm. That you don't even know about, but you can choose.
No one would ever.
He says, but these are people that you can't control. Like, just live your life, smile, be happy, and don't worry so much, you know. And I actually shared this with Livy on our way back from soccer because she's such a worrier and she's about everything, warrior. And you know, and she listened to it and she was like, I like that. And she actually brought up her own thing. Like she says, in my leadership class in school, we talked about the circle of control right. And inside the circle are things that we can control, which is like ourself, our choices, right? Outside are things that we can't control. And so she brought that up, and I thought that was cool that she remembered that from school.
Yeah. I like that they have a leadership class. I feel like every school should have a leadership class where they learn like life skills. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, I thought that was good for Livy to hear too. Just someone that worries about a lot of things, even things that she can't control. And anyways, yeah, that was my interesting thing.
I like it. You know, Livy gets that from me. To the point where when I was a young kid, I used to worry so much about everything that my parents always repeated a poem to me, and it stuck with me till adulthood. And it was, our old cow would have lived until now if it had only saved his breath. But he feared that his hay wouldn't last him all day, and he worried himself to death. That's a poem my parents told me. And the idea was that, like, his hay probably would have lasted him all day, but he was so worried about it that's what ended up killing him instead. So don't worry. Anyways, I don't know if that's the best poem, but that's the poem my parents told me. Like, stop stressing. But yeah, I see a lot of me in her in that way. I thought that's good. I think that's good. But I kind of disagree with a little bit of what you said, that people don't laugh at the same joke twice. People do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay. Later on, but if you keep telling it over and over and over, right? Like,
yeah. I've been seeing this video that's like kind of trending, and it has the caption, someday your child will describe their childhood to someone you've never met. And it's like, so the thought is like, so what does that look like? Like, what are your kids going to describe to people that have never met you about their childhood? And it makes you pause and think like, well, I hope it goes like, oh, my parents loved us. They always like gave us hugs when we were sad. They read us books. They had kitchen dance parties. They, like, I hope it's like fond memories, right? rather than like traumatizing them. But it just was kind of like, oh, that's kind of crazy. And then I was thinking about how, like, yeah, like I have some really good friends right now where I've just told them about my parents and I've just told them about my siblings, you know, and they don't know that world, you know?
Yeah.
And it's fun when those two connect. Like just this last weekend with the baptism, I was like, my friend Jen met my little sister Mackenzie, and she was like, "Oh, are you Kaylee?" And I just thought it was so sweet that like Jen remembered one of my sister's names, and like was
sweet.
You know, because she's like one of my really good friends, and she hasn't met my family, you know, and it's like, what am I describing? What am I telling to my friends? And one day our kids will do that. One day our kids are gonna meet really good friends who've like never met us.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of wild. But it makes you think about their childhood and the kind of memories you're creating.
Yeah, and it really helps you to really think about what you're doing with our kids.
Yeah,
like,
and with the time that we have, you know, I hope they're not like, oh, my parents
like good
are
and bad.
fighting.
Good and bad. Like when we go on vacations, right? Like we're thinking about trying to make memories with our children, and we hope they talk about this for years to come.
Yeah, and also like maybe conflict resolution, right? Like I kind of remember my parents disagreeing and then like what they would do to like solve it, you know? Or like that they always would talk to us about what was going on or something, you know?
Yeah.
So life lessons as well as like just I really hope they just have some really core, like funny memories.
And hopefully they don't remember the bad stuff.
Yeah, hopefully that's trauma block. Just kidding.
Like,
anyways, that was it. I just was like, that's kind of crazy. One day they'll describe their childhood.
Yeah. Very interesting thought. Wait, that was interesting.
That's interesting. All right.
All right, let's get into it. Oh.
Review time.
So this time we actually got a review not from one of our siblings, which we actually, I mean, your siblings have shared reviews too.
Yeah, and we're going to share those later.
Oh, whoops.
Keep sending.
Listen, if you give us
all
enough,
are appreciated.
If you give us enough reviews, like we'll have a lot to go through. Right now, we're trying to like save some because we don't have that many, so we're like, we need some to save for later.
Not necessary to describe this. We appreciate all the reviews, whether related or not related.
Related or not related, but yes, please leave us a review, and only good ones. Thank you. All right, this one is from @xanjoyce08. We know who you are. But it says, I don't even have kids, but I still really enjoy this podcast. The episode about giving people grace really stuck with me. It honestly made me think more about how hard parenting must be and helped me be a little more understanding toward the hot mess parents out there. Said with love, she said. I'm all caught up on the episodes now and actually look forward to the weekly uploads. It's always nice to listen to a positive podcast and feel like you're surrounded by genuinely kind people. Thanks for putting the time and effort into this every week. You're all doing a great job. Sorry about the editing mishap. Give yourselves some grace too. LOL. Please keep them coming because I'm officially hooked. Thank you, XanJoyce08.
Thank you.
That was a great
really
review.
Sweet.
Yeah,
that
very
was
sweet.
Super nice. And also, I am one of those hot mess parents. So I appreciate the review.
Especially from someone that doesn't have children. Like,
yeah, I love the feedback. And we wouldn't say we're not like a parenting podcast, but we do obviously talk about parenting
kids. And kids. Hopefully there's things that we share that.
Yeah, a lot in it because we just talk about our life. So that means a lot. And that was very, very kind of you. So now is your time to leave us a review. Like, comment, give us 5 stars, follow the podcast, follow on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. And
continue the conversations that we've had. Like we really appreciate reading people's input, about things that we talk about and and hearing your thoughts and stuff. And so comment on anything that we talk about and leave us your thoughts. So thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thanks for the review. We appreciate it. We also, you know what? We appreciate the encouragement that was very sweet to acknowledge like the editing mishap, because it is a struggle, and like we've been having issues tonight. We also had somebody else, I think it was your Uncle Bill, when I was like, I don't know if it'll get posted. Like we had to, the whole thing got deleted. He's like, get it posted. I'm listening. It was like very firm. And I was like, you know what? I will for you, Uncle Bill. Like, I just appreciate that. The encouragement, like, hey, we're listening. Like, keep going, keep trying. We need that, we need that. So we appreciate the feedback, and to know that you're here means a lot. Like, I've ran into a couple of people who's like, hey, I'm listening to your podcast. And I'm just like, oh, there's actually people who listen.
They're listening.
No, it makes me so happy. So yeah, let us know that you're listening. It means a lot. Okay, so today's main topic is on time management. And when I first told Ruben, I was like, we're going to talk about time management. He's like, why? Why? We are not good at time management.
This is
we are
not something we are qualified to speak about.
Here's the thing. We are truthfully not experts on any of the subjects we've talked about.
That's true.
And I thought, I think for that reason, it's a good topic of conversation, because it is something that we struggle with. And I think a few things come into play with that. But there are things that I feel like I've gotten really good at with time management over the course of the years. But it's also a conversation I keep having with our oldest daughter. Our oldest daughter has been struggling with time management. She's getting so busy. Like, we're just kind of entering that phase of like school's getting more intense. Sports are getting more intense. Piano is getting more intense. Like, as she's growing and learning and developing, she's getting busier. And not to mention, like, social life matters more to her right now. Like, that's in play as well. And so all of these things are becoming a little overwhelming. And yes, she is our child who tends to be the worrier, and she does, have a little bit more of an anxious brain, but we have to have these conversations time and time again about time management, because she all too quickly can feel like the weight of the world is on her shoulders, and she has way too much to do and has to do, that everything takes priority, which is just making her feel extremely overwhelmed. And there are times when we do that as well. And so I thought, okay, let's talk about time management, because it's been a topic of conversation in our home a lot lately. Let's talk about ourselves first and the type of people we are, okay? Because I feel like there's pros and cons to the type of people we are.
Okay.
And probably the type of people everyone is, right? We're the kind of people who kind of have a chronic late problem. And I saw this reel a few weeks back. And honestly, it kind of bugged me. And the reason why, it's not on my reshare, guys. It's not on my reshare because it bugged me.
It offended you?
It offended me.
You choose to be offended?
No, it didn't offend me, but it had like this guy on there. He's probably, I don't know, he's famous or something. I don't know. I didn't know who he was. But anyways, he was going through an interview, and he was saying how his biggest pet peeve is late people, to the point where he won't be friends with people who are late. And
okay, so just a little extreme.
A little extreme. Like, that's a huge pet peeve of his, which that might be a pet peeve of yours. I don't know. But the comment, I was like, okay, I can tell that this is going to ruffle some feathers. So I went to the comments. And I could see like everybody being like, well, what about blah, 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 blah. Like, all the late people probably defending themselves and making excuses. And then the people who also hate late people, like backing them up. And like, we're torn, the comment section was torn.
Late versus not late.
late versus like,
what are your thoughts?
yeah, what are
Tell
your
us.
thoughts? Tell us. But so it was just kind of interesting as I was going in and looking at all of it. And so let me just explain myself, okay, a little bit.
Let's hear your excuses.
Let's hear my excuses. So we're kind of chronic late people, but here's what I'm not late to though. Like rarely. And if I am, it's like within a couple of minutes is I'm not really late to doctor's appointments. I'm not really late. I'm not late to interviews. I'm not late to, like professional settings. I'm not really late to those things. Okay.
Okay.
But I am late oftentimes to church. Like every time. We're late to church.
Even when church starts at 1:00.
Yes, I get pushed back. We're
We're
late.
still those people. Yeah.
I'm late to church. I'm late to maybe a play group. I'm late to a friend's house. I'm late to things.
To a party. But that's on purpose. Because who wants to be the first one at the party?
Yeah, it's a
then
little
you have
awkward.
to help
Depends
set up,
who it is.
put up the tables.
No, okay, but let
Gotta
me
help
explain.
do all the stuff. So show up late. Everything's set up already. People are there already. You're not having to like be one of the awkward ones at the beginning, like trying to socialize with like one person.
Yeah.
Show up and people are already there. Things are going on and no one notices.
Here's people's argument, right? They look at that. I think a big argument for people who hate late people is you're not respectful of people's time.
Yeah, I get that.
And I get that. That's a big argument for people. But here's where I lean into a little bit more, okay? Here's the quote I go back to, and I believe it's Thomas S. Monson, and it says, "Never let a problem to be solved be more important than a person to be loved." I kind of stumbled, but never let a problem to be solved be more important than a person to be loved. Okay?
Okay.
So being a mom of kids, whether teens or toddlers or babies, right? Like, I feel very conscientious of the fact that I don't want my kids to feel so rushed that I'm not hearing them, that I'm not listening to them. And they are sometimes. Like there's times where we have to rush. Like, don't get me wrong. I can't just be like waiting on them all the time. But that being said, like I grew up, I was telling even my mom this, that like my mom hates being late, but like she often was late. And it's just kind of like, anyways, it was kind of like that whole side of the family is just a little bit more late to things. But so when we were a little bit late to church, she hated it so much. So it's like start running, would have to like run inside the doors. Okay. But like as a kid, I always hated that. I always hate feeling so rushed that I had to run. And my dad probably didn't help the situation because he was like opposite. He'd just kind of stroll in. He was walking as my mom's running. And so they were a little torn that way. But as a kid, I remember hating feeling rushed, okay? So then now that I have my own kids, there are times when I do that, right? Where I'm like, we gotta go. Like, get your shoes on. We gotta go. And I realized, especially with my oldest, and maybe just because her personality's always been like this, but like she was my oldest kid. And so I realized that my anxiousness was feeding into her anxiousness. That like the way I was feeling so rushed and hurried and worried was that then in turn making her feel more rushed and hurried and anxious, to the point when they were starting school. And my second child, who is so slow, she's like the opposite of the first child. Mm-hmm. It would make my oldest crazy, where Livy would be like, Emily, hurry up. Like she's losing her mind. And I'm like, Livy, it's not that big of a deal. Like we don't have to rush right now. Okay. And I guess the argument for a lot of people who hate late people is then wake up earlier. Just do it earlier, then you won't be that anxious.
Yeah. I guess I was going to ask that question, like just to be devil's advocate a little bit, because I am part of the same family. We have the same issues.
Yes. Be devil's advocate.
right.
Let's hear the side.
So yes, if you know that it takes you an hour to get ready.
Yeah.
And church starts at 1.
Yep.
Do you start getting ready at 12?
Yes. No. The answer is earlier than that.
The answer is yes, that's what we do.
That's what we
know. We know it takes us an hour to get ready for church. So we only start getting ready once it's 12 o'clock, right? But
it starts at 1. So we're supposed to be there at like 12:40.
So it's almost like, why don't you mentally trick your brain, right? Say church is at 12:30.
Because I cannot. Here's the thing. I cannot do that.
Get ready at 11 o'clock.
No.
So again, you get rid of the rushing feeling, like the having to, make your kids anxious, right? And you just do it earlier.
Okay, let me explain to the people who don't understand late people what happens. What happens in this type of situation? We'll start getting ready at 11. We'll start getting ready at 10. But then I'm like, I have all this time. I'm going to cook a whole breakfast for my entire family.
Yes. That's what yes.
I have all this time. I'm going to paint my nails. I have all this time. Like literally, like we fill in the time with other things. Or we're like, I have all this time. I'm going to sit in the shower for 30 minutes.
But I guess the argument for these people that hate late people, though, too, is like, it's a mental thing. Like, it's all a mental thing, and
what's also just like a mental thing is chronically late people. And I don't think you can trick your brain. It's just how we operate. Okay. This is just how we operate. But I guess the other argument people have is like, well, you're on time. See, this was my argument with you. Because you're on time to work, to meetings, to blah, blah, blah. But then we have to go somewhere and you're so late. Like you don't care. So then it's a matter of like, you just don't care, because you will be on time to those other things. Now, here's the thing. When I'm on time to doctor's appointments, when I'm on time to things, it is sometimes at the expense of my toddler's feelings. Like, to be so honest, it is at the expense of like, Elsie, I don't care. You want to do your shoes by yourself. We're late. You're getting in the car, rather than me being like, oh, you know what? Yeah, do your shoes by yourself. Like sometimes I rush them more because I know like I have to. Where in other situations, I'm like,
you don't have to.
I know I don't have to. And so therefore I'm going to choose my person.
You're not going to get tardy points at church. They're not going to be like, oh, you can't come because you have too many tardies.
Yeah.
So you take advantage of that and say, it's okay if we're late to church because they're gracious and they're nice. If any of our
kids' school teachers are hearing this, they do get tardy points.
Oh, for school. Do. Yes. I'm talking. Yes.
And they're still late.
Yeah, whatever.
Listen, but if you were as extreme
if you are a teacher listening to this, listen, our kids being late
is Ruben's fault.
It's not. Our kids actually get up on time and they make their lunch.
They're like
no, you know what?
Independently
I'd say
getting
50-50.
ready.
That's not true. It's not always my fault.
It is
50-50. They are. I come down here. They haven't made their lunches yet. They haven't.
Oh my gosh!
It's their fault. It's not just all my fault.
And mine. I guess I could make their lunches for them, but our kids are very. Listen, they do their own. They wake up on their own. They make their own lunches. They fix their own hair. They get ready all by themselves.
I mean, we're pretty lucky. Some people are probably like, man, you guys have it easy.
Listen, we're teaching them life skills, okay?
But you know what? They weren't like that by themselves. We taught them to do this. So.
By being lazy parents.
Yeah.
Okay, but wait. I remember because I know we have a problem. I know we have this problem. But I also pride myself a little bit in like
not worrying too much about it.
Not worrying too much about it because I know it will make me crazy. Like I know it does make me crazy. Like to try to be on time all the time would make me such a high stress. Like I'm already a high stress person. Like it would make me so high stress. It would not be good for my health or for the health of my children. Flat out. Like I have to learn to let some things go. And that means being on time to some things that you actually don't have to be on time for. Like it's actually not that big of a deal. Okay. It reminded me of a clip from Bluey, which Bluey is a great teacher. a clip from Bluey where Chili the mom is trying to get the girls ready to go to the park, and the girls are taking a long time, and the mom is like, oh my goodness, like, can you guys just focus and get ready so we can go to the park because there's people meeting us at the park. And the girls are just like doing their thing because kids don't have a concept of time. They don't understand. They don't get it, you know? And finally the mom's kind of like, and the kid, and I think it's Bingo is like, Mom, why do we have to be on time? And she's like, I actually don't know. Like, maybe because it matters to this other person that we're on time. And so I feel bad, like we should be on time because she's like waiting for us.
But that's good to teach
That is
too.
good.
Yeah.
That is good to teach them. And then when she's communicated that, the Bluey and Bingo were like, okay, we're ready. Like they were like, because they didn't understand time and they don't understand why you have to be on time. But when the mom took the time to like explain like why it might be important to be more on time to go to the park, then they were ready to get ready. But also the mom relaxed a little. And the mom was also like, okay, like we don't have to stress this to the extent that we are stressing it. But then also explaining that to the kids help them be a little bit more like ready to go and like respectful because it matters about people, right? But anyways, so I like that little clip because it kind of showed both. Like it shows that it is important to show up if people are waiting for you. You should try to hurry and be there. Like,
well, I think it is important to respect people's time.
100%.
And I think that if you think about things in that way, like in the way of, okay, this is someone like, for example, church, right? This is someone who took the time during the week to prepare a lesson. And if I walk in during it, it might interrupt the lesson. Like if you're thinking about the other person, like you're more likely to be on time.
But I think we have to communicate that with our kids so then they understand.
Well, we also got to
that
care
and think
ourselves.
that is what, yeah. But I think they need to understand that as well because I think too often, like I'm just concerned about my kids in the moment, and I'm not thinking about that other person as much, maybe.
Yeah.
And because like a church setting, I'm like, what do they care? Like. Because they're not just focused on me. They're not just waiting on me. I think that's why, like, I don't know. But if you think about like, oh, they took time to plan and prepare this lesson, like what you said, like, oh yeah, then that maybe gives you a paradigm shift of like, okay, why we need to show up better.
Like we got Gospel Essentials class and there's only 3 people that go to that class.
Yeah.
And like we're 2 of the 3. It's like, okay, we should be on time for that,
Yeah. Okay. So I saw this video. I saw this video, or it was like, I don't know, a quote I heard. I don't remember. It was years ago. And it was saying how chronically late people tend to be more optimistic. And I think it stuck with me because it was validating me a little bit. It was like they tend to be optimistic. So I just did a quick little search and this is what I found, okay? About chronically late people are often more optimistic as they tend to believe that they have more time available than they actually do. So for example, you tell me to get ready earlier. I do, but then I also am optimistic and I fit in more
I got
stuff.
time.
Yeah. Okay. A phenomenon rooted in time-based prospective memory and the planning fallacy. They often view time more loosely, allowing them to focus on the present moment rather than worrying about strict deadlines. They often fall into the type B personality category, which is associated with being more relaxed, creative, and laid back. So I heard that and I was like, I feel like I already know I'm a type B person. I'm a type B person. And so when I heard that, I was like, yeah, this just fits me. It's almost like a personality trait for chronically late people. And so I think there also needs to be a level of grace there because people just operate differently, And it could also be like ADD. Like ADD might make you late because you're bouncing off of things like ideas and like what you should be doing.
Because you can't focus on one thing.
On what you're supposed to be doing, right? So I think there needs to be a level of grace. Like when I saw that video of the guy's like, I'm not going to be friends with somebody because they're late. Like, I think that's too harsh. I think that's a harsh line. And honestly, if a person said that to me, I wouldn't want to be your friend anyway, because that's too rigid for me.
You're too uptight for us.
That's too rigid for me, because I am a chronically late person, but it's not always about you and not being respectful to you. It's about my own issues that I have of how my brain operates and what I deal with and what I pack in. And
so
also,
maybe what he's really trying to say is like, I want to be friends with people that care about me and my time.
Yeah, which I think that's fine, but there's just got to be a level of like if my friend is like setting up a party and is like worried about people coming and stuff, like I'll be there on time, you know. But if this is like, oh, it's a bigger event and whatever, like, I don't know. Oftentimes I'm late. Sometimes I hate that I'm late, but I just am. Anyways, but it also fits my type B personality. So for example, tonight I had bunco night, and I remembered bunco earlier in the day. And then it comes around to bunco time, and my friend texts me and she's like, hey, do you want to ride? Totally spaced it. And that's why I was late, because I'm such a type B person. I'm just giving my girl a bath in the tub, enjoying our moment together. Forgot that I was going to bunco. And then not only that is I'm on my way, already late. I text the host. I'm like, sorry, I'm running late. Because honestly, we're lucky I even showed up at all, because my type B self forgot. And then I'm on the way and I'm like, crap, I was supposed to bring the bunco bag.
Oh, shoot.
Like with all the stuff in it, with all the dice.
So literally they're waiting for you.
Literally they're waiting for me. Didn't think about that till I am 2 minutes away from her house. And I'm like, by the time I go home and come back, I'm going to be like 30 minutes late. Like that's too late, you know? Like we're supposed to already start.
So what did you do?
So I call her and I'm like, I forgot the bunco bag. Like, I'm so sorry. She's like, okay, let me look at my games and see what dice I have in here, because you're supposed to have 3 dice per table, so a total of 12 dice. And so she's like, let me see what dice I have. I'm like, if you have paper, I'll make some. Like, what? I'm like, I'll figure it out. I'll make a cube. We'll make it work. No. Like, literally, I felt so bad. But I was like, but if I go home, I'm going to be like 30 minutes late. Anyways, so that was a big fail.
She's probably really mad at you still about that.
She might be, but listen, I just am a type B person, and I'm so sorry. And if I don't have friends who understand that or like can give grace for that, then they can't be my friends, because I just am all over the place, and it's just the way I operate sometimes. But that can allow for some fun and creativity. Anyways, she found enough dice and was scrappy.
Wow. But okay, that was kind of
that gives a glimpse into RyLee.
that kind of like
off the rails.
No, it's like, okay, definitely you're a little too far on the late side.
Yeah, it was.
Like, there's got to be balance. Yeah.
I was like 10 minutes late to bunco, but so was other people, but I forgot that bag. So, yes, that was really bad. That was really bad. I should probably set alarms for things more often, but I just am like, in my brain, I think I'm going to remember, and then I don't. Anyways, we're going to talk about the opposite people, the people who are actually organized. We're going to talk about on-time people, okay? On-time people, this is what it says. On-time people generally possess organized, conscientious, and disciplined personalities, often characterized as type A, who value planning and reliability. They're typically time conscious or time anxious, map out their days, anticipate travel time, and see, I'd never anticipate travel time. Like, literally, I'm like Googling the travel time, like so 5 minutes to leaving.
Oh, 5 minutes. Okay, never mind.
It's like, oh, this is 30 minutes away. I'm like, shoot. Anyways, and experience time as passing more quickly than others, often viewing punctuality as a crucial, respectful habit.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are type A people. And I would say, generally speaking, most people probably want to be type A people. It sounds better of the two.
It does sound better. Like, we can make a lot of excuses.
I'm not trying to make an excuse. It's just like how I am.
I think you're just trying to say, like, give grace to those of us that are late. Be nice to those of us
Be
that are
nice to
late.
us, okay? And if you can't handle it, I understand, but we just can't be friends.
Well, that's
Like-
that's extreme too. You can still be friends.
No, I'm saying we can't if they can't handle it. Like that person, he's the one who said they couldn't be friends with people like us. I'm just saying, okay, fine. I guess we can't be friends because.
Yeah, but most people aren't like that guy. But yes, generally being on time is more respectful. And actually, I was raised that way too. Like my dad, he's always on time to everything, you know, and we
So
want
what
it to
happened
be.
to you?
Hey, I'm better than you are.
No,
so.
you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. Literally, you're the same as me. You're
Okay.
on time.
I guess it
to
depends.
appointments that matter. I am
It
too.
depends.
I'm on time to appointments. I'm on time to things that matter.
I think the
Well, I
only
mean, they
thing
all
we're not
matter.
on time for it is church.
No, and parties and events.
Oh,
and
yeah,
everything.
parties. Yeah, but that's on purpose. That's not like we're trying to
It's
be late.
not
It's like,
on purpose. Sometimes I'm real mad at you for
oh,
being
no,
late.
no. Yeah, I'm purposely being late. That's on purpose. It's not like I'm.
That makes me mad at you more because people probably blame me and it's you who's doing it on
No,
purpose.
listen, there are things. Okay, there are things that I'm purposely late to. Parties, for sure. There are things that I'm just late to.
What if nobody shows and the person's all like sad that like
Okay.
nobody's coming to
Yeah.
their party? That's rude. You're on purposely late. I'm not on purpose.
If I know I'm going to be the only one there, then of course I'll be on time. But if I know it's a big party, why would I show up on time? Unless I'm like expected to like help set up, do all this stuff, then yes, like I should be there on time.
Oh wait, can I say a good
But
thing about
wait,
us?
I'm not done.
Oh.
There are things that I'm purposely late to, parties. There are things that I'm just late to, not trying to be due on purpose, and that's church. And then there are things that I'm actually on time for, like meetings, work, you know, professional things, right? So I think you choose what you're on time for. I think maybe there are people that want to be on time for everything. I think that's a little extreme.
Well, that's what we're saying.
You know?
That like
But so, okay, sorry. What were you going to say?
no, I was just saying, you know what we are good at though?
What?
Is we're gonna be the people who help clean. We linger too. Like
True.
we might be late coming, but we're also there for the conversation. We're there for the cleanup. We're there for we're not as rushed in life generally speaking. And I think that's can be a good thing too.
That is
like
good.
we can truly, like it says, like live in the moment a little bit more. And I think that's a good thing to be able to live in the moment.
I
Maybe
agree.
we just need a balance, right? Because I don't want it to be like, oh, well, we planned a dinner at this time with just us and we can't miss that. It's like the Grinch. He's like, dinner with myself, I cannot cancel that. Anyways, okay, that was just a little part of what I wanted to talk, because the main topic is time management. Okay.
Okay. We spent a lot of time on that.
We did, I know. But the main part is time management, because I feel like this is a life skill that takes constant reevaluation and work. And I think even type A people struggle with this, right?
Yeah.
Because we all struggle with this, whether you're type B or type A. Time management. And I wanted to bring in one of my favorite books that I feel like is a book that I need to read every single year. This book is called Essentialism. Can you see it? Essentialism by Dave.
No, Greg.
Greg.
Greg McCowan.
Essentialism by Greg McCowan. Okay. This is a great book. I feel like everybody should read. And I feel like you need the reminder like every year. But this book is great because his main focus is the importance of saying no to things that you don't want to do or do not benefit you, and only saying yes to the things that do. Okay, which is kind of a broad thing, but he dives in deeper and about how we need to realize that most things in life are trivial. So we need to get rid of the trivial many to focus on the essential few. And we can easily fill our lives and our days with trivial things that don't actually matter. You could fill it with oh, I said I'd come to the park. I have to be at the park. But you know what? If life happens, your kid's not having it, like you don't have to show up to the park. You can say, sorry, we're actually not going to make it today because my kid does not want to go today. Like that's a good thing, in my opinion. In my opinion, that is a trivial thing that is not essential. And you have to do what's most beneficial in that time. And maybe in that time, that's your child and their feelings and emotions. And maybe they're too overworked and they can't leave the house at that moment, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's recognizing what can give, basically. What can be the trade-off, right?
Yeah.
And so it's reevaluating your life and the way you spend your time. And it comes down to, we all have the same amount of time in a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really prioritizing
how you want to fill it.
How you want to fill it and prioritizing your time with things that truly matter. So if you make a list of things that are really important to you, maybe that's exercise. Maybe that's scripture study and prayer. Maybe that's family dinner, right? Maybe there's like a few things on your list. And if some of these things keep getting pushed aside, but they're one of the few things that are actually essential, then you need to realize that a lot of those trivial things need to go so that you can make time for the essentials. Right?
Yeah.
But it's a really good book. Any thoughts on that?
I just thought about exercise. Like, I feel like every year we're like, man, I really need to start exercising and start getting in shape. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, why am I not doing it? Because it's not on my it's not on my list. It's not on my most important. Like, do I really care about it?
Yeah.
Do I really care about it? Obviously not enough.
No, but I think sometimes maybe that is on your essential list, but you're filling your list with so many other things that it's not happening, right? Like, so the idea, right, is that, there's this diagram, and maybe I'll put this diagram here. There's this diagram where we all are allotted like the same amount of, it's like, say we have this amount of energy. Okay, we have like a certain amount of energy. And what happens is you picture a circle, okay? And if you are exerting your energy into many different things, right? You're making a minimal impact in a lot of different directions.
Right.
Rather than exerting your energy to one thing, you're making a huge impact on that one thing. All your energy is going there. Okay, so instead of your energy source looking like minimal effect in a lot of different directions, it's small. Instead, you have like a huge impact on one thing. Okay, so the idea is that it's also like a myth to be able to do multiple things at the same time.
You can't multitask.
Right. That's like a myth. So you can't, if you are multitasking, you're not doing things well.
You're not doing anything effectively.
You're not doing anything well. So if my priority is editing a podcast and I am doing that while taking care of a toddler and a baby, I'm not doing either of those things well. I'm not editing well and I'm not taking care of my kids well because I'm trying to edit, right? None of those things are progressing very well or very efficiently or, none of my attention cannot be at both places, right? So if I instead allot an hour in the day to edit, I can get a whole lot more done if I'm just focusing on that and leaving the kids with you in that time and just focusing on editing. And then when I am with my kids, I'm just focusing on them. That's way more beneficial than trying to do it together.
Yeah, I agree. But I also agree that you do what you want to do. You do what you want. I can't remember the talk. There was a church talk that someone gave. I'll have to find it. But he basically talked about you do what you want to do. Like, if you really care about something and you really want it, you will do it. No one forces you. not to do anything, right? Like maybe exercise is not actually something that I care about. Well, I mean, it is, but it's not because I'm not doing it. Like I'm choosing to not exercise because I would rather do these other things, or I'd rather have the comfort of not exercising. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like, I mean, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I feel like when you're trying to create this list of essentials, like how do you get yourself to actually make those things that you want to do? Does that make sense? Do I get what, you get what I'm
It
saying?
makes sense, but I feel like I don't wholeheartedly agree. I see what you're saying, but I here's where I feel like a lot of us fall into this trap of distraction, of little things that take away our attention and our time. And maybe, yes, that's like what we are choosing in that moment to prioritize. But for example, I was listening to Diary of a CEO, and they were talking about the addictions of phones and spending so much time on your phone. And the device is created to be addictive, right? Like a lot of these social media platforms are created to be addictive. And as I was listening to this, one of the interesting things that they said is that, you know how like when you're on Instagram or TikTok, like there's like that refresh button, basically you pull down and it like refreshes your feed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was designed mimicking a slot machine. Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
So the same kind of dopamine rush that you're getting from a slot machine, you're getting when you refresh, when you're like sliding, when you're refreshing, or even like just scrolling. It's mimicking that same type of dopamine hit of a slot machine. That slot machines are also addictive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our phones, our devices and things are becoming so addictive that you're scrolling and you're spending time and then you're like, whoa, I just spent like 2 hours scrolling my phone. And it's wasting all of that time. So maybe deep down your core value, you value exercise more than you do scrolling your phone. However, that is what you're choosing to do. Maybe like what you said, like maybe it's more comfortable to sit and do that, right? That's what you're choosing to do. But I think when we acknowledge like all of this stuff that just fills our life, and a big one being like the distraction tool,
Right.
you'd realize like, wow, I actually have more time in my day than I realized. Like there are times where I'm not, and I feel like from doing purposeful toys, like I fall into this category of spending too much time on social media,
Oh, yeah.
oftentimes, right? And I'm like, wow, when I just put my phone away for a while, I actually do have enough time to clean my house. But like sometimes it doesn't feel like I do because I'm so busy trying to edit and post and be on social media in between taking care of my kids. And so I'm not spending that time cleaning or doing those other things that like are important or that matter, right? And I just feel like I never have enough time. But maybe we actually do have enough time because we all have the same amount of time in a day. But we're like filling it with these trivial many rather than the essential few.
Yeah. I can agree with that. Yeah. And I feel the same way. Like I feel like there are times when I'm scrolling through my phone and I realize, what the heck am I doing?
Yes.
Like,
We
what am
all
I
fall
doing?
into
Why am I
that,
just
you
sitting
know?
here? Right.
I mean, there's people who are really good at not doing that. But I would say that's something that like I need to be aware of, and like we all do. But I'm like, how are my kids? Like we're millennials. Like we didn't even have phones growing up. Like we didn't have social media really in high school even. And like how our kids are set up to fail in this regard, you know? Like they're set up to be addicted to these devices. And so if we don't protect them or like have really set clear boundaries with ourselves and model that behavior for them and then have those clear boundaries for our kids, like they're going to be set up to fail,
Yeah.
you know? And to spend all of this time wasted And then that's where like time management is something we need to work on as well, right? Like instead of like, okay, so here's an example is like our daughter, she was so excited about her Valentine's box that she was designing it, and she's like our also like very perfection child, and so she's taking her time designing and cutting and making it perfect, and she was spending so long on this box that it was like midnight. It was like after soccer practice, she's spending all this time after midnight, and then she realized she still had homework she had to do, but she designed the box before she did her homework.
Yeah.
And we had to talk about priorities. We had to talk about what was the most important thing in that time. Like she had a Valentine's box she could have used, but she wanted to DIY one from scratch.
Right.
And so she chose to spend all her time doing that. And then it was like past midnight and we told her, no, you're going to bed. So she's like, okay, fine. I'm going to set my alarm at 5 a.m. Okay. She's 11 years old and she's trying to set her alarm at 5 a.m. and get like 4.5 hours of sleep. And she slept in through her alarm. She woke up in tears because she slept through her alarm. She's not getting her homework done. So because she's not getting her homework done, she thinks she can't go to this Valentine's things at school because she doesn't have all her assignments turned in if she doesn't get her homework done. And she is like a mess. She is like in tears. And, you know, instead of just sending her to school, I allowed her to stay home and finish her homework. It really didn't take her that long. And then she went to school a little bit late with her Valentine's box. And we had to have a big conversation about priorities. Like, you didn't have to spend all that time in that box. And we told you time and time again to be done. And she kept going, you know. And it was like, but we do that too. We do that too. We fill our lives with things that don't matter. So going back to the story about Ruby, I regret spending time on purposeful toys that made me late for my daughter's field trip. Nobody cared if I posted a post on Instagram at a certain time of day, but I was doing it because of stupid analytics and I thought it mattered, you know? Like it didn't actually matter. And what actually mattered in that moment was my daughter's field trip. And I was late because I was working. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like what actually matters in life. And I think we get in this mind trip of like, and I think it's partially the world trying to value busyness and being busy and busy equals success. And it really takes away from what actually matters. And what actually matters is like people and your family and these things, you know, some things we make a big deadline that isn't actually a big deadline. And in this book, he actually talks about how he had this work meeting with a potential client, and they told him, like, his partner said his wife was in labor. She was in labor. And he was like, his partner said, oh, they will respect and value you for leaving for this meeting. They will see that you value this so much you're leaving your wife that's in labor. And he's like, that was the biggest wake-up call. Because I left my wife and my brand new baby. I think she had the baby. He was there for that, but it was like right after she had the baby. Mm-hmm. And he left and went to this work thing. And he's like, the client did not respect me for leaving my wife. He was like, why are you here?
Yeah.
You know, he's like, the client didn't respect me and we didn't get the client after all. It was a pointless meeting. And I left my wife. And he's like, it just made me realize what was actually essential in that moment. And what truly mattered was my wife and my brand new baby. And if they didn't see that, then they're not the people I need to work for anyway.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of the most successful people, there's a certain level where they start earning so much money. You know, you talked about work and stuff, but like the most successful people usually at some point realize that their time is limited, even though they've made all this money. Mm-hmm. And then they start to spend their money to get their time back.
Yeah.
Right. Like they hire assistants or they hire people to do things for them so they can have more time. And I feel like sometimes we get in the trap too of just thinking, we need to spend more of our time to earn more money or to do these other, non-essential things. And when really, like, even the wealthiest people realize, like, the time is what matters. Like, that's your most important uh, asset,
And you can't get it back.
and you can't get it back. And every minute that goes by is never coming back, right? Every moment you miss with your child, you're never getting back again, right? Like, and these are things that should matter the most, right? So it's hard to really grasp that in the moment of things, though, sometimes, to realize that, there are times where you just need to focus on the most essential things. But I don't know. It's good to think about.
It's good. I think you always need to evaluate how you're spending your time and like adjust. That's why I love this book, because I feel like it puts it in perspective, and it's like a good reminder of like eliminating things that don't matter from your life and bringing in things that do. That's why I really like it. But I would also say I heard somebody, I think it was a business podcast, that was saying like, most people look at outsourcing as like an expense, like hiring people to do things for you. For example, I would love somebody to help us edit, right? Like most people look at that as like an expense only, when you have to look at it as an asset. Like if it's gonna help you create more content, produce more work, and like essentially
have
like,
more time to do the essential things that you can do.
That's an investment. Right. That's an investment, and it will bring a return, right? Like if you're outsourcing in smart ways, it brings a return. So for example, if you're outsourcing in a way that opens up time, right? It brings a return in time to be with your family, but also like to do more work. Like if I am outsourcing some of this, then like I can create more. I can do this better, And so there's certain things that we outsource and that I feel like have really helped us. Like last year, and this is a whole thing, but last year with Purposeful Toys, I outsourced a little bit more. I had people helping me. I had a couple people working for me that would help me produce content on different platforms, and that would help me like create some of my like posts and things like that. And I made more that year than I had in any other year. And then because of that, I knew I could be successful with it. Purposeful Toys was no longer serving me in that way. And so now it's shifting and changing. But I know in order for this podcast to exist, I can't do as much with Purposeful Toys. And I think that's a smart move to realizing that there are some things that have to give for you to do what you feel is more essential. And right now it's this.
So you feel like this is more essential than Purposeful Toys?
I do right now. And I think that's clear to people. I think that's clear that that's where I'm putting my time and energy is into this podcast. Purposeful Toys is still here, but Purposeful Toys is transforming. It's no longer the same as what it used to be. It's changing. But I think we also fall victim to the idea that life just happening to us rather than life happening for us.
Yeah.
That like we are actually in control of how we choose to spend our time and energy. And I think sometimes we feel like we have no choice in the matter, and that we have to remember like we are agents to ourselves. Like we have the ability to choose. We have the ability.
We are, was it Elder Bednar that said, we're agents to act, not objects to be acted upon, or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't remember the exact quote, but basically the gist is like, we can control what happens in our life. We can control the time that we put into whatever it is we want to do. And like you said, like we don't have to let life happen to us. We can make life happen how we want it to be.
Yeah. And I mean, yes, life happens. We're not saying like life, like hard stuff doesn't happen and like we're in control of everything. We're not saying that, but how we respond and what we choose to do with it, we are in control of, right? And this matters to me so much in that that's the whole reason why Purposeful Toys was called Purposeful. Like before we had Purposeful Toys, I had like a family motto that was live purposefully, and we like put it on our wall and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And tied down to a couple of scriptures that I like. That was act rather than be acted upon. And
yes,
like what we just said, like
yeah,
to remember that, to live with intention, to like do what you're doing purposefully and intentfully, because otherwise life will you're just accepting whatever falls your way. And I think an important skill in time management is realizing that like you have the ability to choose how you spend your time. And being bold enough to stand up for yourself. You know, he also talks about like, you know, people who tend to say yes to everything or accept work from everyone. Like if, like say in a work setting where somebody's like adding on jobs to you and you just feel like you have to say yes all the time. He's like,
yeah, I'm one of those people.
Yeah. He says, have the ability to say no. You will be respected and you will get more done in what you need to get done. If it is not an essential part of your growth and your work, then say no and focus on what does need to happen, because that's, again, going back to that graph, if your energy in the right way will make far greater progress than your energy in multiple small ways.
Amen.
We all need to do better.
We all need to do better. I agree. I think this is good. I mean, I've got to evaluate my life. I've listened to it. I've done the audiobook, but it's been probably 5 years since I've listened to the book.
Yeah.
So definitely, I think the audiobook is great. I think we listened to it once.
I love his accent. He has like a
Australian accent or something, or
British accent.
Is it British? I thought it was Australian. Anyways, it's a great book. Listen to it, read it. We're going to do the same. I think I definitely need to reevaluate, like, it's things I spend my time on. I think the big one is obviously the phone, you know?
Yeah, the phone takes so much of our time. Oh, this is the other thing.
Cutting that itself would
open up so much time.
And I feel like open up our minds to like what else we can do.
Yeah. You know? And if you go to that Diary of a CEO podcast too, where they talk about phone use and the addictive behaviors of it, like it's also showing like how it's like diminishing our attention spans and it's really ruining our brains.
We have ADD now.
It's ruining.
I think I've always kind of had ADD, but
it really is. And they say like, in order for something to help your attention span, you're supposed to listen to it for at least 10 minutes. Listen, read, or do something for at least 10 minutes. And the way social media is set up is like 90 minutes, top 3 minutes. Like it doesn't reach that 10-minute to help your brain and your cognitive development to continue to function properly. And so what it's doing is diminishing our attention spans. He also said that's why podcasts are so great, because they're typically longer than 10 minutes.
See, that's why you should listen to this podcast. We're helping your attention spans. And if you've made it this far, thank you for listening. I feel like this is bad too, because we're like, every time we talk about something like this, we're like committing it to things.
It's good for us. I just have this little thought that there's such thing as decision fatigue. And if you have too many decisions to make, it becomes extremely overwhelming, and then you're not good at managing your time. And it made me think about a good thing about you wearing the same clothes every day is it helps eliminate decision fatigue. So it's smart. Good job.
But what does that have to do with time management?
Because you don't have to spend time planning your outfit.
Yeah, right. I've been doing this on purpose.
You're cutting time. So like another thing for decision fatigue is like, or being smart about it is like eating the same kind of meals for breakfast and lunch and dinner. Like you already know what you're going to eat.
Yeah.
It eliminates decision. Because truly decision fatigue, when I feel it the most, it's when I'm thinking about what to make for dinner. And if I have a couple things on rotation.
But if you're good at time management, you plan that the week before.
Yeah. And when I don't do that, it's like super stressful.
Instead of relying on doing it the moment of.
Yeah, don't do it.
Thanks for joining us for some R&R time with Ruben and RyLee. Make sure to leave us a comment, review, give us a like, follow, and also give us your tips on how we can manage our time better. We are definitely not the best at this. Hopefully some of you can relate, but those of you that are good at managing your time, what do you do? How do you manage your time with kids, with events? Give us the tips. We need them. That's it. Peace.